Hey, this is Seth Engle with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reporting live from Beaver Stadium, where Penn State just completed a 27-6 victory over Rutgers in what was the first game without offensive coordinator Mike Yurcich. Penn State, still showed some struggles offensively, but ultimately came out on top. It was also a game that Drew Allar, the starting quarterback, got hurt. He exited in the third quarter for Bo Pribula, who came out and immediately bursted out for a 39-yard rush. They didn't score on that drive, but Bo ended up seeing the end zone a couple drives later. Katron Allen scored 2 touchdowns. It was a game that, it's weird because Penn State is in a kind of predicament here where they're done with the playoffs. They're not contending for a Big Ten title, but they can still finish relatively successful as a 2-loss team, go to potentially a New Year's Six Bowl. But that's not really what this team wanted this year. Even at the Rose Bowl last year, the expectation was that they were going to make the playoffs this year, and that standard has kind of failed in a way. But it was interesting going into the post-game presser here where James Franklin talked about a speech that Theo Johnson gave in the locker room after this game. It was a speech that put tears to James's eyes. It was one that, kind of congratulated James and it was one that kind of backed him up after, certain criticism and backlash last week after losing to Michigan. Players, Chop Robinson, Devon Ellies, veteran leaders on the team, spoke really highly of Coach Franklin, and just the message that, there's love in that locker room. There's love that Coach Franklin has always put towards his athletes, and that was something that I think Theo wanted the rest of the team to know, especially the younger guys, where this isn't just a head coach who's doing this, and this is just, okay, you're just a part of his life for a couple of years, then you graduate. That's not who James is. That's what Theo was trying to say, was this is a guy who puts so much into this program. I believe James has never missed a day of work. I think he told us that earlier in the year. Puts so much into this program for your futures, like for the futures of every player, past and present. And it was interesting, too, to kind of connect that with the fact that there were alumni in the building today. Mike Yurcich made an appearance. There were some others who also came by. And that kind of just goes to show that that's the program that James wanted to build, was one that wouldn't end after these seniors kind of graduate and go off. It's a program that's always here for them especially. And I think that's why Theo thought that today was the right time to speak and speak loudly. And it was really powerful. We talked to Keaton Ellis too, a State College native who, all he's ever known was Penn State football. And he was recruited by James Franklin, who took him in as family. It was the same story with Kobe King. It was the same story with Ellies and Chop Robinson and Theo Johnson as well, where, James has been more than a coach. And I think it struck them the wrong way after James was kind of booed off the field last week, and there were some expletives, and it was just a nasty scene after Michigan. But moving forward, I do think that was an important moment to keep the program intact, despite the struggles, despite not making the playoff for another year, and despite kind of missing out on all the hopes and dreams that they had for the 2023 season, but with a potential to reclaim those and try again next year, and keep fighting. And that's that was really Theo's message. Defense again was phenomenal. I mentioned Chop Robinson. I mean, he is just spectacular. This was likely his final game in Beaver Stadium. Same with Olu Fashanu. Both are probably first round picks. I mean, Chop put it all on the table today, especially after missing 2 games with an injury. He had a strip sack. He forced it and recovered it. And he was just fantastic. And Kevin Winston Jr., safety, first career interception. That was a big moment for him. But, I mean, this defense, same old story, held him to 6 points. It was the 4th time this season that they've held an opponent to single digits. But still, the offense struggling to keep up, even without Mike Yurcich in the box. This is it's been quite a problem. But, As for Drew's injury, James says he doesn't think it's significant, but, it's too soon to tell, and we'll see. And obviously he doesn't get into injuries, so there wasn't much other than that. But we will see, at Ford Field next week. This is the regular season finale. Looking forward to it. Never been to Detroit before. I hear good things about the press box. Should be fun. Little Black Friday matchup against Michigan State. Will Drew Allar be the starting quarterback? I don't know. We will see then in Detroit.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.